Hello, welcome back to the Mildly Forge Boomers podcast. My name is Nero, aka Onforge. I'm joined by Hassan, aka Mildly Creative.
Hello.
We're once again joined by Jake Hodgkiss, aka Vulcan.
Hello.
And we got another special guest who's been following the show for ages now. Kind of follows it religiously, like he's in a cult.
Join us.
Drizerpool. I don't know what to call you, mate.
Hello, this is me. I am Drizerpool, aka Jake.
Shall I call you
We have Jake,
Drizerpool?
slightly cooler Jake. I'll let you battle it out to the death to decide which one is slightly
This
cooler
is
Jake.
getting out of hand. Now there is two of them.
There are two of them.
I'm happy to go by whatever.
Yeah. I'll probably use Drizerpool, I guess. I don't know.
No worries.
Got a shill for Liverpool.
Drizzle, if you will.
Drizzle. But yeah, we're doing another culture episode for this week. We're talking about the phenomenon of Star Wars, and let's be real, all four of us here are massive Star Wars fans. Some people need to be purged for not watching Star Wars, or put on a cross. So yeah. Regardless.
Honestly, right?
Mm.
The original trilogy is kind of mid.
Oh no.
Oh no, we're starting with this, right?
Reason why? It's a fucking standard hero's journey story and doesn't overdone as shit. That's
No.
my only major complaint. It's a well done hero's journey story, right? But it's nothing unique in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't feel like a story needs to have, massive amounts of uniqueness. If there's a formula, you can't break it.
Right,
That's
before we
how it
get onto
works.
that, guys,
At
we got to
the time,
start
it
with
was
the
like-
amazing segment that we always start every episode with, which is made by Driscoll, by the way. What is the government up
Okay.
to? Right, nothing. What's happening in America? Yeah, that's what I'm
Fuck all,
saying.
that's what.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
Some climate pledge.
They're probably
bullshit.
having another party in number 10 in the heat wave, middle of a house pipe bam. They probably got a hot tub in there somewhere, bro.
Now, you mentioned something before we started about this a meeting, right? About
Yeah.
the cost of
So-
living crisis, right?
So I was reading up, and Boris Johnson vows a meaningful meeting with devolved leaders on cost of living.
Right. So
So-
that's completely meaningless, right?
As
Pretty
we, the
much.
Tories, the very rich, middle class, upper class people, will discuss the cost of living for the working class.
Great idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, so the
Bit-
government,
bit,
as we concluded, is up to
interesting.
no good. Right. Okay. We concluded that. Right.
Boris Johnson has also pledged to give a bunch of dementia charities some money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Totally not a publicity stunt to make himself more popular or anything, right?
Before he gets the bucket kicked out of him, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. He needs to have some people like him so he still has a career, the fucking parasitic slime that he is.
Yeah.
Well,
Parasitic
I wonder if
troglodytes.
I wonder if he'll go back as mayor of London after
Oh
he's
God. No, please stop reminding me of that ever existing.
I mean, hey, he'd actually do a better job than Mr. Knife Crime Capital dickhead who runs it currently, to be fair.
Sadiq Khan.
Oh,
mean,
my fucking
Oh,
God.
no.
You see, that's how little I care about him. I don't even remember his fucking name. Fucking
Right. Yeah.
moron. I think knife crime like almost
Yeah.
tripled underneath him, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. And people still vote this dickhead in twice in a row. Fucking sheep, man.
Right. Anyway, you were saying, getting back to the funny point you were saying the original trilogy was mid, because it follows the formula of the
mid.
hero story.
It's just oversaturated, and honestly, right, first viewing, I don't know if it was just me, but like some of the twists were kind of obvious. Because I mean, come on, given all the shit Luke gets up to in the first episode, even just in the desert, you can tell he's not just some random guy. And like Obi-Wan is suspicious as fucking hell, given he knows all of this shit, and from what we know, he's literally never met Luke before.
Okay.
Right.
Would-
My
would
problem
you
with that is, at the time, the formula wasn't heavily oversaturated as it is in today's market.
In movies, yes. In books, absolutely not.
In book, oh no, I fully believe that even though he used that formula, he expanded on it and made it, his own. Which is what you should do. Take a concept, make it your own. That's what he did with Star Wars.
No. He didn't twist the concept though. The concept's exactly the same. It's a very high like quality version of a hero's journey concept, right?
I'm not saying he twisted it or anything. I'm saying like he did put his own thoughts and things into it to make it.
Yeah,
Well, that's just the universe.
That's what
though,
makes it high
isn't it?
quality, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it high quality. Yeah, because well, it's a rise and it's a fall followed by a rise story. Like it's nothing like groundbreaking as far as general plot goes, right? The world building, I'll say, is like really, really good, but the issue is you don't get too much of that world building in the first 3 movies.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Most
very
of that's
minimal.
from
Yeah.
the supplementary materials, like the comics and like the shows and everything we got after the movies, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The problem was when he was making these films, science fiction films were not a big media. They were not a big like everyone wanted to watch a science fiction film. So George Lucas was very aware of this and knew when he was making these films, he was unsure if people were going to like it or not. So I think he went a bit more tame with the first 3. Obviously, he was trying to get that audience in, trying to build up this franchise first, and then he could go wild with all the shows, the prequels, the sequels, all that.
To be fair, though, the prequels are literally right. People have fond memories of them because of the memes, but like the movies themselves absolutely fucking suck.
Yeah, they're pretty mediocre.
Like the 2 most memorable scenes I can think of off the top of my head that I actually quite enjoyed watching were the Darth Maul fight and the
Yeah,
Mustafar
Duel of
fight
Fates.
scene. And then the Mustafar fight scene because that was just sick.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Hodgkiss,
I
I'm not gonna lie.
hate that scene.
Hodgkiss, you're awfully quiet. We need an opinion on this.
I was just letting you guys speak. I was gonna
Right,
slip in a bit.
Hushkiss, I've got a question for you then.
Go
What's
on.
your favourite trilogy? Original, prequel, sequel?
The thing is, the original is it's the one that started. It's the one that kick-started sci-fi films in general. So that is the best trilogy. It just is. But I don't know. If
Well,
I
I'll
was
ask Nero and Hassan as well. Which one's your favourite trilogy?
I've always been split on whether to pick original or prequel, personally. But
Prequel is objectively bad, so like the sequels
Well,
don't fucking exist.
yeah, they
they're,
don't.
they're charmingly bad though.
Yeah,
You can see there
that's
was.
the thing, though. I'm looking at them from a cinema perspective, right?
yeah, I get
Best one is absolutely the original trilogy, right? Like a high production quality on a basic concept is always infinitely better than trying to do something different and it failing miserably.
I'd
Like,
I'd
the
say
whole
originals then,
midichlorians
like
thing-
genuinely, like
the
it's
whole
what my dad grew
midichlorians
me up
thing-
on.
Infinitely pissed me off.
Okay. The original trilogy that made it such a loved. And like, why is it better than the rest? Why is the original? Apart from nostalgia, like that being the first one, what about it makes it better?
What?
A lack of as many plot holes as some of the other movies, right?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, right? There are a lot of plot holes in some of the other movies, new ones and prequel ones as
Prequels,
well.
yeah.
And like honestly, we didn't need that much of just a Darth Vader backstory because that's kind of all of what the prequels were gonna like.
Yeah, I get you.
It made him less scary as a villain, which is not something you want to do, right? Because think about it this way: if in every scene, instead of that creepy ass Darth Vader helmet, you just see Anakin Skywalker, is he as
Right.
scary? No.
But isn't the whole point of like the way you watch Star Wars is you meant to watch the originals first and then the prequels?
But the problem is,
Well, there's massive
because
debate
they are
about that.
labeled, because they are labeled prequels, right? A lot of people new to the franchise watch them first.
Yeah, because
well,
it
it's the
doesn't
whole
help because of
episode-
the episode
same
labeling
experience.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have that same experience of witnessing Darth Vader as this terrifying, unknowable villain. Like in the first couple of scenes, you're like, "Oh, this is just Anakin Skywalker, that fucking crybaby loser who hates sand."
Right.
Like, sure,
my
he murdered
controversial
some
point
kids,
with it.
but
This is my controversial point with it. I think the prequels were good for humanizing Darth Vader because Vader was just a bad guy. He was an evil bad guy, and at the end, you know, he might have been his dad or whatever, and he redeemed himself. But the prequels showed us why he was a bad guy. It gave him a
issue
personality.
is- yeah,
I like that
agree.
because you can
It's
see
fine.
the sad fate that he was in, and you know he had good intentions. All he wanted was to have a family.
It's
And
good.
He got
to
manipulated
humanize
and
your
twisted
villains,
by
right?
both Palpatine and the Jedi, and it
Good
messed
to
him up. And I think
humanize
that
your
makes him
villains.
better.
It's good to give them a sort of reason for like committing bad deeds and stuff, right? But on the flip side, if the issue is because of the way they did it and the way they structured the movies, insofar as the order you watch it, right? Most people watch the prequels first just because they're called prequels, right? So obviously you want to watch them before the sequels, even
I'd
though
say 1,
those are
2,
the
3, 4,
original.
5, 6. Yeah.
But anyway, so if you watch the original trilogy first, you sort of lose that, like, the prequels take away from that sort of sense of fear you have for Darth Vader,
Yeah.
right? You don't think he's as scary anymore, like, and you feel like, you know, like, a lot of the, like, badass scenes that he has just make him look like a pathetic whiny child, like him choking out all those rebels and those, like, his officers just looks like he's compensating for a small dick or something, right?
Yeah.
But if you watch the prequels first, you're never scared of him to begin with, right? It's
Yeah.
good character development, don't get me wrong,
Mm.
right? But they don't mesh well together. They don't work well together,
Yeah, 'cause
right?
they feel like separate. Yeah.
They don't feel like the same person at all.
But I think that's
so
what they
you
were
can
trying to
see
do
the
with
massive
the
shift.
prequels and the sequels.
And it's a little
originals.
too big of a shift as far as, like, the
See,
movies
I disagree.
go.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
no,
in the
no,
same
I
boat
think
as
it's
Drizerpool.
perfect
I
shift.
liked the separation
think
of Anakin and Vader. Like, they felt
Well,
like
if
two
you'd
different
let me
people.
finish.
Okay, okay.
I'm not trying to be bitchy or anything, but, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't done. I just wanted to say that in the movies, you don't get the sense that they are similar at all.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, with all of the other expanded content and stuff, like, you know, the comics and just context of galactic events, you can kind of understand why he ends up like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, do the movies ever explain fully just how sick and twisted the Sith actually are? No.
No, you need the backstory to that. Yeah.
Palpatine just kills a bunch of people. It's fucked up, but it's not, like, inherently horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I give it you all the background to Sith we've ever got is Sith want to control everything. That's it, basically, pretty much.
And the
In the movies,
see where you're coming from,
literally
yeah.
and then the arch enemy of the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No,
all we're
like,
given.
I got into Star Wars through I got in through Star Wars through the Knights of the Old Republic games, so that's an Old Republic era, right?
Oh.
And the way they portray the Sith there, like, rather than, you know, just absolute crazed maniacs or something, it's just a much more human, like, they want to control things, right? They want
Yeah.
to be the ones in charge.
Mm.
I personally thought that was a much better way of, like, humanizing Darth Malak in that, right? He always felt inferior to Revan, so the way he did it is in Revan's moment of weakness after he was fighting
backstabbed him,
Bastard.
yeah.
He backstabbed him and he took over, right? And, like, Revan isn't a good guy, but he's not a bad guy either. And, like, when he recovers his memories in the second game, which, to be honest, the fact that they didn't finish that game is fucking criminal. But, like, with the expanded content, like, Revan wasn't a bad guy even during the Jedi Wars. He killed a lot of them, sure, right? And he, he killed thousands of Mandalorians for the Jedi, and he killed thousands of Jedi for the Sith. But when he finally rediscovers, like, himself as a person, he realizes that both sides are complete bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Both powers are simply a means to an end.
Well, to be fair, this is what I've seen with Revan. The backstory I've seen from him is before he got manipulated to be obviously a massive Sith. When he was a Jedi, he wanted to fight to defend the innocent, which is the Jedi principle. You use your power to defend the people who don't have power.
You see,
And
the best thing
At
is,
the time,
right?
with the Mandalorian War, the Jedi said, "No, we're not helping these people. You know, it's not our business. We're not getting involved." And Revan was like, "Nah, screw that. I'm jumping in, getting involved."
Yeah.
That's what I like.
and, like, him and Malak both said, "Fuck it, dude. We have the power to help people, and we'll do it." Right? And, like, the scene. Oh, well, I say scene, just, like, the little bit of the story where, like, you know, you learn the backstory behind why he wears that mask, seeing that Mandalorian woman defend those, like, you know, innocents, basically, the civilians, right? While the rest of them are just dropping basilisks and nuking people, like, she upheld her principle, she upheld her honor, and, like, Revan respected that.
Yeah.
And, like, the funny thing is that, like, even with the amount of them that he fucking killed, the Mandalorians adore Revan, they respect him so much.
See, that's
Because
what I like about
unlike the other Jedi, he didn't sit his ass in a seat and preach high-minded ideals. He
Yeah.
said fuck it and went in. Sure, it led to him being corrupted in the end, but honestly, I think the Mandalorian War did that a lot more than fucking Vischer ever could.
Mm.
Like, the Sith Emperor is scary, don't get me wrong, and he did brainwash him,
Yeah.
right? But those feelings were already there in spades.
Mm.
But
Like,
this
it was
is-
starting to build in Revan, yeah.
It's a tangent, I know, but like bringing it back to the Darth Vader
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
imagine something like that
But for the prequel trilogy,
See, though,
yeah.
over
This is
what
what-
we actually got in the movies, right?
This is what I did like about the prequels, though, because obviously the first one, where Anakin was just a young boy, you can see from the very start, Palpatine was like, he even said it, we'll keep a close eye on you, with all of him and his, bodies, like...
What,
So from the
the
very
manipulation, yeah.
From the very start, you knew Palpatine was going to manipulate that young boy, and he was going to be a massive influence of why he became who he did. You saw it throughout the whole prequels. Palpatine, mastermind that he is, managed to, any moment you get, weave these doubts into Anakin and corrupt him.
I'd
And,
say it's the irony, like, what? Anakin grew up without a father, let's be real.
Yeah, he had no
like, so
father.
he saw Palpatine as, like, a father figure, so, like...
But to be fair, he saw,
manipulation is easy.
originally he saw
I'm
Qui-Gon,
gonna have to
and as
stop
soon as
you right
Qui-Gon
there.
died,
Mm,
I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
yeah.
The only reason Anakin at all decided to work with Palpatine is the Sith healing bullshit. Because to be honest, he probably still would have killed him.
Yeah.
Like in
Okay.
the scene where he kills Mace
Yeah,
Windu
episode
instead.
3, yeah.
that was the thing, though.
There was no build-up to the fact that he needed the healing ritual. There was
I
it
can
was
save
just
the one you
whole,
love, yeah.
that
To be
was
fair, this was
all he said about it. Like it sort of the manipulation is there, but like because of that bit, it just kind of invalidates the entire thing. Right.
And I know we're talking about the films right now, but in Legend, I don't know if it's Legends or it's canon anymore, because obviously the whole Disney. We'll talk about it later. But
I can probably confirm what I for you.
yeah, in one of the comics, it shows that Palpatine was giving Anakin these visions while he was sleeping. Because obviously we've seen the second one, is it, or the third one, where he's sleeping, he sees the visions of Padme dying.
Yeah.
And it was revealed in the comics that that's Palpatine.
Yeah, no,
feeding
that's
them
canon.
in.
That's canon.
Is it still canon? Yeah.
Yeah, that should still be.
And
So, yeah.
I think that's brilliant as for development towards Palpatine, because just show him that he has that power to force people to see stuff that might happen, and to push Anakin subconsciously without even knowing he's being tricked more towards whoever will help him, like deal with these feelings more and more, because he's seeing it more and more in his head.
Absolutely.
To build that conflict within him
It
is
absolutely
brilliant
plays
story
up,
writing.
like the whole actual power of the dark side, right? It's not just raw power like dominating your opponents like we often get with the Ventress and Maul, right? There is a lot more subtlety to it as well, right? But again, a lot of the movies don't ever show that. They just show feats of power like Palpatine using the Force lightning and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Shit, that's cool and all, right? But can we not get more Sith dark rituals and stuff? You know what I mean?
We get that in the
Sure,
Clone
it
Wars,
probably
but,
wouldn't have it would have been R-rated, obviously, if they'd gone too far into some of the stuff. But they could have at least mentioned it a little, or at least brought it up once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think we did get a glimpse of that in the sequels, where obviously we had the Kylo interrogation kind of scene where he's forcing himself into their mind. Which I guess is kind of what you're asking for, not to the extent you're asking, but that's the one thing I did like about the sequels, that it showed Kylo having this really intense power of being able to force his way into someone's mind and absolutely break them.
Yep.
That's the one thing I do love about the sequels.
What makes that even funnier?
But,
That is a very basic Sith technique.
exactly. So
That is one of the most basic techniques, and it's just a test of willpower, right? Against anyone with greater willpower, Kylo would legitimately just die.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I
He
think it's
lost
bullshit
against-
Luke loses.
Sorry, he lost against Finn, who isn't confirmed to have Force powers, even though he does.
It's just a
Rey,
matter of
who has
willpower.
no training.
Yeah.
In hand-to-hand combat, saber-to-saber combat, Kylo has been trained by a
To be
master Jedi.
To be fair, before we talk about Rey at all, in any
Yeah.
sense, I think we can ignore Rey's involvement in any power scaling because she's entirely a Mary Sue. She is entirely a Mary Sue. There is no reason she should be powerful at all. In fact, she should probably be a
Yeah.
throwaway character no one brings up.
I'm not gonna lie, right?
She's
From
just a
that, I
Mary
can see
Sue.
her having some power because she's on Jakku, a very sleazy planet. You learn to defend yourself. Fair enough. It might not be the best combat, but I can see why she'd be a good combatant. Jedi powers up, she should have no power at all.
Yeah.
No.
The fact that she could, on herself, learn how to use Force healing, and no other Jedi.
Which is an
Master Yoda
ancient
didn't.
art that's been lost. Yeah, that was lost.
The fact that Master Yoda, a 900-year-old being, couldn't figure that out.
Yeah.
All the great minds of the Jedi Temple, working together, couldn't figure that out. But Rey, just going on a merry way, just figured it out.
Which
It's
is
frustrating.
BS.
I wouldn't have minded her inheriting some techniques, right? But her learning forgotten techniques and just being able to use all of them with no real drawbacks.
Right, general rundown. Look, we all hate the sequels here, right? Generally.
Oh, what's good?
If you don't hate the sequels, just even objectively as a piece of cinema, there is something wrong with your brain.
See,
Half of the problems were caused by issues with just they couldn't decide which director they wanted, and all of them consistently changed the story every single
Ryan
second.
Johnson.
That
I don't think it helped.
I don't think it's a fact of multiple directors, because as we've seen, multiple directors can work, as we've seen on The Mandalorian.
Just
that
because
had
it
6
can
directors.
work doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm just
because
saying.
it worked one time doesn't mean it's good. Having more than one director, you've got all those clashing visions, the clashing egos on set.
Oh
That's
yeah, no, I'm
good
saying.
for the mental health of anybody on that set. And
All I'm saying is,
causes
as
plenty
we've
of
seen
issues.
with The Mandalorian, it worked. There's 6 directors. They all worked together to build one thing. That didn't happen with the sequels. It had 2 directors with 2 different visions, wanting 2 different things, and they conflicted, and it didn't work.
And that's what happens in 90% of movies with multiple directors. The thing, Mandalorian's a little different because it's a show, and with shows there are usually a lot more writers involved because it's an episode by episode basis, so they can split
So you can
each
do
episode.
different arcs, but it still
Right,
develops the character.
Literally,
Yeah.
right? They can set an overall tone for the story, so this is where we want to end up. All of us picks an arc, and we can decide on the journey, right?
Yeah.
And like, as someone who is a legitimate writer, that stuff is quite easy to do with just shows or let's say a novel you release chapters for bi-weekly or something, right? It's really easy to split it between writers because you have time to discuss it. With the movie, you got one shot at it, right? And sure, you can you've got to take into account the amount of time it takes for the actors to take
learn
time out of
lines.
the thing. And when you're using big budget celebrities as well, that doesn't really help because they're not willing to stay on for too long because they got other shit to do, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta pay them fairly and stuff, right? So you can't constantly change the script because they're eventually gonna get annoyed and go, you know what, fuck it, I'm not doing the movie. It's not worth the hassle, right?
For
So
context, Hassan actually writes fantasy novels, if you're wondering, Drizerpool.
I've been well informed. Yeah, no. To further, I think it could have worked if Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams both just picked a destination and how they wanted it to get there.
I
They both
still
took
wouldn't have
ideas
liked it, mind, just because the Legends continuation was fine. There was nothing wrong with the Legends continuation, and they absolutely could have picked a female protagonist. Luke Skywalker's daughter is a fucking Chad in Legends.
Yeah.
And they absolutely killed Luke as a character and just made him this pathetic old
my
man,
God.
which is just
it's not gonna start.
incorrect. That is just wrong. I'm sorry. What?
The thing that showed me they killed Luke was Mark Hamill came out and said, "This isn't Luke Skywalker."
Yeah, when
he was
one
played
of
him
the
for
lead
years.
actors says
Hotchkiss,
that.
you're awfully quiet.
And he knows what the character is because he's played him for years. How that character, he would know more than pretty much anyone. How that
And
character was
as
out.
much as he might not like this, that was kind of the start of his big budget career, to be honest, for Mark Hamill, right? Luke
No, it
Skywalker was
You heard the story of how he. Have you heard
see
about
it.
the story how he became Luke Skywalker?
Probably not, because I don't tend to
No.
look at the movies much outside of just, cinema
Right.
related things.
To be fair, most of the original cast, I think, have interesting stories of how they became actors. Han Solo's is Harrison Ford's is brilliant. I'll tell you that one in a second as well. But
Yeah.
Luke was Mark Hamill, should I say? was living with some big Hollywood star. I can't remember who exactly, but he was living with someone who was like quite well known in Hollywood. And one day he just came in. His roommate came in and said, "Oh, I know you're out of work. I think I found you this role." So he told him about it, and Luke was like, "Oh, I'm not really too sure about it." Like,
Mark.
so
Mark
he was
Hamill.
pretty much just Mark Hamill wasn't. He was like, "I'm not really too sure. I'm not sure it's my thing." It's like, you know what? I'm not working. I need something to do. I need a job. So he went for it, and that's how he got it. He literally just a recommendation from his finger. He was very close to not even like doing it.
They
But,
were art students, basically.
Yeah.
yeah, he was-
Art students.
What were
yeah.
you going to say, Hodgkiss? You like cut off.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had no idea Mark Hamill got the role.
Ah.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It sort of reminds me of fucking oh fuck, what's his name? Guy he did the Superman guy. Fuck, what's he called?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, right? And like his little story of how like he really did. He was doing a World of Warcraft raid the day
Yeah.
before.
Oh yeah.
He turned up like what 2 hours of sleep and like bare minimum effort. He gets the part. He's just kind of like, so can I keep the suit?
Yeah.
And
Then just walks out with it on. He doesn't take it off. He just walks out.
and then he was gaming, and then he missed a phone call saying he got the part with Superman.
But right, I know it's very off topic, but the Spider-Man, Tom Holland, that's it.
Yeah.
He had an interesting hiring story as well.
Mm.
'Cause, he got called up, did all the auditions and everything, and the studio Marvel announced it on Instagram before they told him he was Spider-Man.
That's toxic.
So he saw a thing on his thing saying, "Oh, he's the next Spider-Man," and he's like, "Am I?" And then he got the phone call saying, "Oh, yeah, we just want to let you know you're Spider-Man." That's how, which I think's hilarious. But well, let me tell you the Harrison Ford story. Harrison Ford, because he wanted to be an actor growing up. He went to all these acting schools, joined an agency in Hollywood, and went to audition for Star Wars or some other George Lucas project. I can't remember which one.
American Graffiti. Because he was in it.
I can't remember.
He was.
Oh no, he didn't get accepted for this role. So he went and did the interview, and he might not have been George Lucas actually. He might have just gone for any old film, but the director was like, "Sorry, no, you're just you're just not for me." No.
Yeah, which fair enough.
You're just kind of too stoic, Harrison Ford how he is.
Yeah.
But one day there was like hiring for a character in Star Wars, and they just needed someone to read lines so the person auditioning could like go back and forth from them. I think they were like hiring for like Carrie Fisher's role or something. So he's like, "Yeah, do you know what? I've got nothing on." And granted, at this time, he quit. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done with being an actor. No one's hiring me, so I'll just be a carpenter." So he was like a big carpenter and like he used to build all the houses for all the celebrities. Yeah, so George Lucas called him in. He's like, "Yeah, all I want you to do is read the line. You don't have to act, don't have to do anything. Just read the line, and then when just do the dialogue." So he's doing it. George Lucas goes to him. "You know what? You played that perfectly. How would you like to be in the film?" And that's it. That's the best
By the
story,
way, he
I think.
hates the character of like Han Solo, unironically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it's just the idea of he wasn't getting an interviewed or anything, auditioned for this role. He literally got told in to just read a line. And the way he read the line was so good, he got hired as Han Solo.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, brilliant. And it worked, because obviously Han Solo was a brilliant character. Ruined a bit in Solo, but hey ho.
Solo was so bad, don't remind me. Oh no.
Right. Question. I want to hear Hodgkiss' view on this first. What do you think of the Star Wars stories, as it's called? The Rogue One, Han Solo, stuff like that.
I actually really enjoyed Rogue One because I felt like the characters were just people. They didn't have like stupid levels of plot armor, which is what I hate about the sequels. I cannot stand all this plot armor. All the characters just get away with everything because they are the main characters.
There's
What Rogue One does well is anyone can die, and I like that.
Can we also talk about that Vader scene?
Oh, that was
Oh my
amazing.
god.
Oh,
Gave me goosebumps. So good.
it's
Genuinely,
perfect.
Like it's with the power gap like that, just these shit like it kind of reminds me of a little bit. So I was actually watching a video on this yesterday, right? And they were talking about how Homelander does that really well.
Oh,
Whenever there's
yeah.
anybody in a room with Homelander, you're just like, holy shit, what is he gonna do, right? Because you genuinely have no idea whether he's gonna kill him or have
The
a pleasant
Boys is
conversation
such a
or
good
something.
show.
And
Oh
it's
my
the
God.
same with Darth Vader in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Anytime he turns up, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're
It's a sheer
immediately
fear, yeah.
scared.
the thing that helps with Rogue One is it's pitch black. You can just see him like illuminate from his lightsaber. He has the mask, proper intimidating mask, so you can't even see what his face is saying. Just some stoic blank character coming at you with a
the
And like
deadly
baby on
gun.
Hodge
top
just
of that,
said, plot armor takes away that aspect of
Can I
like
say, well,
anxiety when like
Yeah.
the main villain's there with characters you've gotten fond of, over the time.
Mm. Yeah,
That
because
could
once
be
you grow once you grow with a character, you kind of don't want them to die, obviously. So like,
yeah,
like a character, and like
What
when
stakes?
you're, yeah, go on.
the thing as well with that film with Rogue One is it also showed the strength of the Empire because it showed that one stormtroopers were actually quite good. Against just normal rebels, against people who don't have plot armor.
The meme aside,
How
they
organized they were.
say that in the comics as well that stormtroopers are probably the best marksmen.
Yeah.
Flat.
They are. It's even said in the very first film, Episode 4. Obi-Wan Kenobi says
only Imperial stormtroopers
these
are
shots
so precise.
too accurate. It could only have been done by an Imperial stormtrooper.
Yeah.
And
And then you kind
it
of
was
see
even
that in
confirmed
Rogue One,
during
where
the
like,
hangar scene
yeah.
where they first go onto the Death Star, and then as they're escaping, the stormtroopers are told to miss them because they put a tracking device on the Millennium Falcon to go back to the Rebel base. It was
And, like,
tactical. Now it's
So
one of the things saying they
the
got
bullshit
bad aim.
explanation they come up with the plot armor after the fact is like, so the reason main characters have plot armor is because the Force is with them. So
Yeah,
it
like in Rogue One, where like
yeah,
all the Death Troopers miss like Chirrut or whatever. Yeah.
it distorts reality a little
but
to
to
the
be fair, he
point
actually
where
did the
they all
Force.
miss, right?
Yeah.
But like that's the bullshit reason why like they're like, oh yeah, stormtroopers miss a lot. To be honest,
Well-
I don't think George Lucas originally had the plan for them to be this Giga Elite Force to begin with.
Yeah.
But then later decided, screw it, they're actually going to be kind of scary, because why would a galactic empire hire nobodies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Fair,
just
to quote has Hon in episode, or one of the sweet sequel ones. That's not how the Force works.
fuck that.
Oh.
The thing is, that's not how the Force works is a bullshit argument, because they change how it works every single time they bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They change every single time the Force has been brought up in any media of that show, it changes how it works. So
Yeah,
let's be honest, it's
Trivia has
space
its own
magic.
set of Force abilities.
It's space magic. Who the fuck cares how it works? It just works. If they say
No.
it does something, it does something.
Except when it's episode 1, because it's the microscopic particles in your blood.
Yeah.
The midichlorians is bullshit anyway.
Yeah,
They just
exactly.
added that. They just added that because they wanted a bullshit reason to be like, Anakin Skywalker is definitely scary, guys, and he's not that whiny kid who was talking about sand an hour ago.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing with wanting him to show how he's more powerful than anyone, just giving him the raw ability, not anything genetical, because if it's genetical, anyone can be that strong.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
not
mean, no,
just
midichlorians is somewhat
actual-
genetics, though. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
See, they are. It's something to do with your cells, which is a genetical thing. It shows that anyone can be as strong as Anakin, really.
Mm.
No,
in
not
theory,
really.
In theory.
Not really.
I know Anakin was made through the Force, which is why he's so powerful. But in theory, because it's genetical, you can obviously, say if you've got two people with high midichlorian counts, they breed.
Hey,
How breeding works.
Hey, that's not how genetic works, buddy. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. There's only
Roughly.
no. Depending on whether it's a recessive or the other type.
Yeah.
Of what it's called. A, that right. B, regardless of how strong your force powers develop, right, the amount of midichlorians you started with genetically wouldn't change. So if you got those midichlorians through training, right, though you're not gonna pass those down. You just be passing down whatever you had genetically.
Yeah.
And
but
like the issue is, Anakin is a chosen one. There will never be anyone who had as many as him to begin with. And like he does fulfill the prophecy at the end of the day. He is the one that defeats the Emperor. He throws him off the edge of a fucking Death Star. Kudos.
There's an argument about this as well,
what
though.
were you gonna say?
I was going to say, this is in the same universe where they can just create billions of clones, which are designed to like the most perfect soldiers. I mean, can they just do that with a Jedi? They obviously know what midichlorians are. They could
this has been... Well, to fair, it's changed, hasn't it? Because before Disney bought it, there was a massive thing like, you can't clone a Jedi, you can't clone midichlorians.
Hey, you know what's funny? Not with their level of technology, right? So I'm gonna bring up some Old Republic lore. So the previous Galactic Empire were known as the Rakata, right?
Yeah.
They have they were so advanced in the Force they could like use the Force to power machines and build machines out of the Force. Their machines fed off the Force and could self-replicate should even one piece of them survive. And it's how Revan built his fleet. He finds a single seed and he builds an entire fleet. It's Star Forges, right?
Yeah.
The Rakata also have been shown to have devices that can not only perfectly clone Force users, they can also purge dark side corruption from creatures if they wish to do so. Completely. And this is like the power of Force ghosts they're purging from your fucking mind. Right? Now, the reason the Rakata fell is because as they went on, their genes became weaker and weaker and they weren't able to create as many Force users. They eventually had a civil war and a plague was released and they pretty much all died out, right? They also created pretty much all of the races in the universe. They made them. Because once they realized they were running out of Force powers, they're like, okay, how about we make replacements for us, right?
Lol. That turned out
Civil War broke out, that didn't go so well, right? But that's how like Force users come into being. Now, I think a lot of the why we can't do things, the law was originally you just couldn't do it, right? But a lot more of it has been changed to because of the way Star Wars works, ancient technology is a lot stronger than any of the modern technology they develop. Because if you look at the Old Republic and you look at the New Republic, Old Republic era, you could put a fleet-destroying weapon on a capital ship and fly that thing around, right? Can't really do that in the New Republic era because they don't.
Well, unless you count sequels where they've strapped planet-destroying devices on capital ships.
They stole that from the Old Republic. Though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and honestly,
Sith technology, guys. So technically, it's an ancient technique, lol.
Yeah, like literally, ancient technology is infinitely superior to modern technology as far as it goes, as Star Wars goes, which is fucking hilarious, man. I mean, you've heard the shit about basilisk droids, right? They just ride nuclear bombs into battle. Mandalorians are fucking terrifying.
Which is canon because it's mentioned in the Mandalorian.
Yes.
Like the Vikings.
Yeah.
So
they literally enjoy
Vikings, aren't they? They enjoy battle. And they die in battle. That's the best death you can have, dying in battle. Which is like the Spartans, like the Vikings. If you die in battle, you're seen as like one of the best. No. That's what I love about the Mandalorian.
What we don't really see is that a lot of the Mandalorians' lives are actually quite a bit more simpler than just glory for battle. A lot of the Mandalorian tribes have this idea about focused on hunts. They pick targets to hunt. Now, some of them obviously, right, go for the more like we chase bounties and stuff because hunting a strong human is like still a hunt to them. But a lot of the Mandalorian clans hunt like creatures across the galaxy, right? Because being a skill hunter is much more honorable than being a bounty hunter. Like they hunt crate dragons for fun, and you've seen crate dragons. Those things are fucking terrifying.
Well, yeah, and that's how they get their insignias, isn't it? They go hunt an animal. Whatever the first animal you kill on your own is, with no help, is what your insignia is.
Yep.
Which I think is incredible.
And like it's that whole coming of age thing. Your first hunt is proof that you've become a real Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing I love about the Mandalorians is it doesn't matter if you're not born on Mandalore, you can still become a Mandalorian. Because they will adopt anything. Train them up to be a Mandalorian, and they're a Mandalorian. They do not care. And I love that about them.
That's why,
You know,
honestly, if you were stuck with a faction, the Mandalorians probably wouldn't actually be that bad, because even if you weren't genetically disposed to be incredibly athletic, they'd train you until you were.
Yeah.
And like, they always have your back until you break the rules, in which they'll give you stuff so you can live and send you on your way. They don't just execute you or anything. They
Like
give you
Din
supplies and
Djarin,
exile
yeah.
you. And like, you can still make a living for yourself with all of the Mandalorian techniques you used. Even if you don't become a bounty hunter, you can just like join a security company. God knows there's plenty of them, right? Move to Nar Shaddaa, work for the Hutts, bro.
Yeah.
Become a bouncer at a casino. What the fuck's gonna happen? Nothing. And you've got Mandalorian training, so you'll probably kick most people's asses, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry, I did join. Sorry to interject. I kind of wanted to be part of the podcast, but me and Colin were going to ham on Dragon Ball. So, yeah. So what was it? Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Currently, yeah.
I was trying to get
Currently,
into the part where we talk about like the whole premise behind how Star Wars started, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, let's go.
We've lightly covered that, to be fair, already. But if you wanna like go,
Gentlemen.
Oh, I wanted to talk about how the Galactic Empire is basically a mirror image of America. Go figure.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say so.
Well, the influence is there. Like, I'd argue.
No.
I'd argue the whole premise behind Palpatine was based on Nixon. Nixon thought it was above the law, so obviously, you know, there's that connection, I guess. Military-industrial complex. Well, it's a stretch, but yeah, some people make that connection.
As far as the Empire goes, I think if we're comparing it to anything, the obvious comparison is World War II Germany, lol.
Yeah.
But a lot of it that you can
Or
sort
the
of
British
feel
Empire,
like it's like a mixture of that and imperialist China, if that makes sense.
Or even the British Empire, yeah, at certain points, yeah.
I would say the Roman.
Eh.
I mean, the Roman
Republic to the
Empire. The Republic. I'd say the Republic's probably more like the Roman Empire, and that, you know, with the senators and stuff. And
The fall aspect makes sense, where it transitions to the Empire. Yeah, you could see that as Roman. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, the rise of Augustus is pretty similar. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good comparison, Hodgkiss. Actually, I don't think I've actually thought of it that way ever.
Yeah.
Which is weird, to be honest, because you'd think it'd be one of the first things, you know, like...
Yeah, a republic falling to turn into an empire. There's only one state that's happened in history that's done that, and that's the Romans, yeah.
Well, one well-known state. There's probably,
there's probably a few. Yeah.
Some shitty principality we've never heard about has had that transition, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, see, that's the one thing I do like about movies. They do take a lot of inspiration from shit like the like real-world events as well.
Lucas is very good at that. Just in general, George Lucas is very good at like looking at an event, right, and transforming it into something where you wouldn't really think of like that parallel immediately, but it's like it's what he sort of based stuff off. Like, I mean, hell, like a lot of the shit that goes on in the Clone Wars, quite a few of them are based off like real life battles, but then, you know, translated to Star Warsy stuff.
Like how Umbara is basically just Vietnam.
Best
arc in the Clone Wars. Oh my god.
I love the Umbara.
And like the fucking so in the movies when they're on Planet with the Ewoks or whatever,
Endor. That's
also
Vietnam. Yeah.
Like, holy shit, right?
Which is, I was trying to make the argument about America, where you could argue, Episode 6 is about Vietnam.
You glitched out a bit there.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, can I just say, my favourite thing about Endor as well is the moon of Endor, which the Ewoks live in, is called Endor.
Yeah.
The moon of Endor is called Endor. In the Endor system as well. It's just the best. I think that's so funny.
Honestly, it's not even that ridiculous as far as names go, because honestly, right? Sure, you've got the correct like star name and whatever. You got like the numbers they give them, right?
Yeah.
But like, so my example for like shit like that is the Sahara Desert is a desert, right? You know what Sahara roughly translates to?
Desert.
It's the desert.
It's called the desert. I love that as well.
The reason it's called that, right? It's because when you know, like, people from other places that spoke different languages asked the locals, so what's this place called?
Sahara.
And like, oh, so it's the Sahara Desert. Then it's like,
no.
Why did you repeat yourself?
It is desert. My friend, it is desert.
Why you say name twice, bro?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Dave. That's how stupid you sound, white man.
Like a lot of places are called shit like that, right? It's just like there's like a
Yeah.
river that's called River, right? But like because it's like river in their native tongue, right? It's the
Yeah.
word for river in the tongue followed by river. It's
like
stupid.
River-
Which is
Isn't
why I
River
think
Thames?
Endor being called Endor in the Endor system is fucking like it's funny, but it's not far fetched either. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't believe that.
Considering how
'Cause, like,
stupid
to the
real
people who
life
live
is,
there- To the people who live there, then they just live there, you know. It's like, oh, that's the place Endor. So what's the star system you're on called? Endor.
Endor.
Yeah, I love it. Endor, the forest moon of Endor in the system of Endor. Brilliant.
Like, I'm surprised it didn't go the full way. So what planet does it orbit? Endor.
Yeah.
Sorry
It's,
about
the
that.
forest,
Somebody
it's
came to the
Endor,
door
the
about
forest
3
moon
times.
of Endor.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were
He's
referring
in
to
the-
Endor the system. Right. My bad.
No, it's Endor the moon that orbits Endor in the system of Endor. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. Everything's just called Endor. I love
So
it.
technically, it is Endor of Endor of Endor.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this is Star Wars we're on about. There's some even more ridiculous stuff out there.
I mean,
Like,
do not get me started on any of the things in Legends, please. We
Oh,
will
like
be
the Sun
gentlemen,
Crusher. Yeah,
gentlemen.
that dumbass super weapon.
Ah,
Yeah.
Suncrusher's
Can we-
pussy shit, dude. Let's talk about Aberoth, my guy.
Right,
You know,
before
the
we-
before we get
god
into
of the
Legends,
Force.
we'll get into Legends. Can I ask, what do you think on Disney's stance of making old Star Wars canons into Legends? What's your thoughts on it?
Yes, I love that. You know why? Warhammer does shit like that as well, and Warhammer is fucking sick.
Warhammer is so good
everything
for
is down
lore.
to interpretation, right? I love I love stories like that because history isn't reliable like that, even IRL,
Yeah.
right? History is written by the victor, sure, but like even those stories get passed down and then
Making
get
it be distorted.
misremembered, right? I'm fully down for this to be a multiverse where multiple different writers write different things, kind of like how, you know, comic books work with like Marvel and DC, right? It has an infinite amount of infinite universes where different versions of different characters exist that do different things.
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck. And like the reason Disney canon, quote unquote, annoys me so much is because they're so fucking deterministic about it. This happened, this did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Luckily, though, we have Dave Filoni to bring some of the old Legend stuff back into the canon.
I mean, honestly, I will never like not consider Legends as things that happen there.
I mean,
Like,
there's
I
other
don't
stuff
care-
they
I
brought
don't
in
care how
from
they have
Legends,
to
like
justify it
genuinely.
in my brain, like be like, oh, it's an alternate universe or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
Sure.
some of the shit that happened is way too cool to ignore.
Yeah.
But to fair, it's also denying some of Star Wars history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Legends, it doesn't matter. Because
I
that's
think
what's...
it comes with Disney's push, like that whole denying history thing. It comes with Disney's push to make it more marketable.
Yeah.
And
I see why they do it, 'cause-
they're finally pulling away from it a little bit now because they've realized they overcorrected a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
This is what I like, because Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, all of like the big directors doing all the TV shows are big fans of Star Wars and the Legends. Well, Disney
Yeah, like how
Legends,
Thrawn was
I'd
brought
say.
back in Rebels. Like, let's
Thrawn
be
is a
real.
jet.
Yeah,
Thrawn is a fuck-
Making the Thrawn trilogy like Legends was, let's be real, kind of like a disappointment. But like, yeah, to bring back Thrawn, I guess, in some way, shape, or form was a good
Anything
move, to be
Chiss,
fair.
anything Chiss related is just brilliant to me,
Yes,
though.
yes.
Like, so they're this like fucking lone planet or whatever of like
Yep,
people that used to be
Chisilla,
human
yeah.
evolved, right? To their environment. They are this one planet and they have an equals alliance with the Empire because they know they have something the Empire sorely needs. And they could just like, because they are so adept to espionage and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, which is
Empire
canon
can't
still.
do shit about it. They can't do shit about it. So like, it's not entirely impossible to negotiate with the Empire, right? It's hard. It's very hard. You can do it though.
Thrawn, yeah. Like, I've been reading through the canon Thrawn trilogy.
And, like,
My
the
God,
Chiss
that is
and the
amazing.
Lion-
It's so
But
good.
to fair, I think with Thrawn is he proved that he's an asset to the
Yeah.
Empire.
Yeah,
Because
It's-
obviously he's just smart in it. He
He's a
thinks on
strategist,
another
yeah.
level.
And like the Chiss ascendancy on its own has been allies with the Empire literally forever. They were allies with the old Empire. They're allies with the new Empire.
in Legends, yeah.
They're allies with the you know, the Empire from the original trilogy. Like literally for I don't know, 60, 70,000 years.
Oh yeah,
they've been
because in
allied
Legends
with the Empire.
they were allied with the Sith, weren't they?
Despite the
Yeah.
numerous times the Empire has fallen, whereas
Yeah.
the Ascendancy is still just fine.
It's existed for millennia.
If
yeah.
anything, they're actually quite
In Legends.
affluent. Nothing compared to the Hutts.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to the Hutts, of course. But they are plenty wealthy and they have a pretty good way of life, all things considered, right? They also do like that whole Korean mandatory military service. So every single chiss of adult age is a scary motherfucker.
Any
Thrawn.
force user of of adult age anyway is going to be like.
Oh
a
no,
scary
that's the
motherfucker,
best
like-
thing about chess. It's very unlikely a chiss is a force user. Almost
Yeah.
none of them develop force abilities, and they can kill Jedi. They've been known to do it.
Yeah,
That's
but like
changed in
it's like
canon,
I
weirdly,
don't know if you
actually.
guys know about
Yeah.
it, but you know the like frowned upon move, right? Disabling your lightsaber and then
A
re-enabling.
Yeah,
chiss
reactivate
force
it,
user,
yeah.
a chiss force user would not give a shit and
Yeah,
absolutely
exactly.
do
Like,
that.
like, why the fuck? Why the fuck? This is the thing that annoys me. Like, I get it; it's kind of cheesy, but like when you're fighting an enemy, it's not like not to bring like
The-
real world
the
things into it,
reason-
but it's a sort of like Nazi versus Allies, like the Axis versus Allies. That's how I see Star Wars sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, let's be real here. It's not as if the Nazis would, if they had a lightsaber, would go, "Nine, I'm sorry, it's just so weak to do this." Like,
It's
that's
frustrating that
It's
the
factual
Sith
in
would
history,
ever
though.
like not do that though, because like sure I get it, some of them.
Oh, damn. I cut out, didn't I? That's great.
Like, a lot of the Sith, like hell, Ventress would probably do it if it wasn't for that stupid bullshit rule that they randomly made up. Why would a
Yeah.
Sith not turn their lightsaber off and just stab you in the back?
Yeah,
the
it's
thing
not
is,
like,
like-
the Sith are, following the rules anyway.
They're not
That's not
consistent.
the whole thing.
They're not fucking consistent. The Sith have a creed. None of them follow it because the entire point of the creed is pick your freedom.
Yep.
My freedom
But it's
is
like
to-
let's be
codes.
real here. Like when you think about it as well, like the whole like polarities between the two like factions as it is. Like obviously, I can see why the Jedi wouldn't do it because it is like
Jedi wouldn't do it because it's literally probably a war crime somewhere along.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. But like
You don't want to start talking about war crimes in Star Wars.
Mandalorian will be like.
Nuclear weapons, yeah, yeah.
Mandalorians be like, these guys are using fucking lightsabers. Okay, let me just burn them to a crisp with a fucking flamethrower.
No, I don't even mean that. The Jedi literally committed genocide on the Mandalorians and they dictate war crimes to
Right,
the
no.
rest of the Republic. Like, shut the fuck up, you
Sorry,
degenerate.
I don't know.
in like the first 5 episodes of the Clone Wars, there were several war crimes alone.
You can't
Every
use
episode has
disruptor
another
rifles,
war crime.
guys. That's illegal. Republic Special Forces be like.
I love that though.
Uh,
Just the amount of war
amazing,
crimes they
yeah.
do commit. Oh, it's so
Like, I
funny.
like the fact that the Jedi are inconsistent, but like, the way the Sith are inconsistent is weird. Why would a Sith ever be honorable? They literally trained from day one. You will eventually have to kill your master, or your master will kill you. After the whole Darth Bane Ruler 2 bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Honestly,
They are literally, they have that beaten into them, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Why are they not just being like, fucking, just like for pocket sanding people and shit mid-duel, bro?
That's it. There's a few people that I see why, like Count Dooku, I see why he isn't, a dirty fighter.
Like,
He's-
yeah.
Yeah.
He
He's a-
threw
he
out
was
the
a Jedi.
and all that.
Yeah.
And he only left the Jedi because he didn't agree with them anymore. He
I
wasn't
don't
like, fully
even
Sith,
think
like, I want power, I
Dooku is
want power.
entirely a Sith. Dooku feels a lot more like a grey Jedi, honestly.
Yeah. He didn't
The
crave
thing
power.
is like
He
Dooku
just
did
didn't
everything
agree.
for his own personal gain, which isn't very much like Sith in the grand scheme of things.
He didn't
Yeah.
want power. He wanted to just, he did want power in a certain sense. Like, obviously, he wanted to have his faction of to rule the galaxy instead
Yeah,
of the Republic.
separatists.
But he didn't want personal power. Like, he was fine having that government run the galaxy instead of just him. That's not a very Sith thing. Sith want themselves to have
Absolute
the most
control.
power.
Yeah. Like Palpatine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
A galactic
Whereas he was
empire.
like-
Yeah. As him as emperor. Yeah.
Hey, is this
he
where
was
I do?
fine,
Is this
you
where I do a funny?
Yeah.
Hashtag not old Sith. I really don't like Rule of Two era Sith, right? Because the Rule of Two, so there's only two Sith, which every Sith breaks anyway, right? But the fact that
everyone-
you're only allowed one official apprentice and like that you're not
Everyone
allowed,
gets this wrong.
right? It makes it so incredibly boring. It makes it so incredibly boring.
Oh, like you enjoyed the infighting of the Sith from like the
The
Old
Sith
Republic era.
Council is fucking based.
The infighting. Oh my god, in the Old Republic. Yeah.
The fact that makes the Sith Council so fucking scary is that even with all this infighting, they can literally walk onto a battlefield and fucking dominate it, dude. They fought the Republic to a standstill while pretty much none of them, bar 3 of them, were ever on the same page and not trying to kill each other.
Can I just say, with this whole Rule 2 thing though, a lot of people get this wrong. It's not that there can only be one master and one apprentice in the whole galaxy. It's just in that little group. You can have many Siths as you want in the galaxy, but there's only allowed to be 2 of them working together at one time.
But the whole
I
point
reckon
of the
Rule
Rule
of
2
Two
was...
would be a good Sith.
The reason Darth Vader introduced the Rule of Two wasn't because he was incredibly powerful and he wanted to make the Sith more powerful. He wanted to do the very opposite because he was shit scared of. The way they.
He was scared of the infighting of the Sith, causing instability.
Oh shit!
Which is
No,
his whole
it
argument,
wasn't
right?
even that. That was his argument as to why he did it. The reason he didn't want it to happen is because he was terrified some random no-name Sith would become incredibly powerful through like unknown origins of the Sith Academy and build their own faction and take him down. That's the only reason he stopped it, to limit the number of people that would be able to challenge him. Didn't work, mind. His apprentice fucking killed him.
Yeah. Regardless, yeah. Darth Xander.
I'm just using apprentices.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah.
He fucking died to his own apprentice anyway after doing all of these limited. The paranoid fucking paranoid cunt. And like again, the Sith really don't care about rules to begin with.
Yep. Like the whole Sith code is based on exercising freedom. Like, was it?
Even if there's this rule that there can only be 2 of them in the group, you think Palpatine gives a shit?
No. What, Maul, Dooku, Anakin? He's literally grooming Anakin.
No, right.
Yeah.
Do you think any of the
Dooku
Sith
and
Lords
Maul at
after
the same
Bay
time.
gave a shit?
Yeah, but Maul's still existing, and then he said, "You are no longer my apprentice." Literally keeps him in a fucking like prison, and tortures him.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not talk about how Sith Inquisitors are just Sith apprentices. Shut up.
This is what I love.
Shut up.
They got Sith assassins and all this, Sith acolytes and whatever.
Oh, don't get
That's
me
what
started
Venture
on
was.
the Imperial Inquisitors, which, by the way, technically do break the Rule of Two, I'd argue, because, like, if the Grand Inquisitor was actually powerful enough, he'd be able to kill Vader and take his place. Like, genuinely.
No.
This was the whole thing.
There are apprentices in anything but name. You're just not calling them apprentices.
They're just called
No, this is
Inquisitors
right.
for the sake of it, yeah.
There's a comic on this, and before Vader found out that the whole Inquisitor thing was a thing, the Grand Inquisitor came and attacked Vader, because obviously the Grand Inquisitor didn't know who Vader was, Vader didn't know who the Grand Inquisitor was.
Oh, is this when that old Jedi's breaking back into the Jedi Temple to get some stuff from the vault? Yeah,
Jocasta knew. Yeah. And so basically, Vader and the Grand Inquisitor start fighting, and obviously Vader wins because he's dead powerful.
Oh yeah.
It was a
Not
test
even
from
a
Palpatine.
fraction of what he could be as well, which is fucking hilarious, just because of how gimped Anakin actually is. He is completely fucking gimped. He can't use force powers in anything but his one hand.
Exactly. But yeah.
Also, you could just put water on him and he'd die.
Well, no. To be fair, he does do a lot of shit on Manan, so he probably has some water resistance or like waterproofing built in.
Right, he's not a fucking raid boss.
It might as well be.
Water resistance. No, I know. I get what you're saying, bro.
It might as well be a raid boss.
Do you know what? Do you know
What are
what?
you
It's
saying,
like the
Driscoll?
whole fucking he can't use
Well,
force
all of
lightning
them
technique
talk about
because it
his
would
water
actually
insulation
EMP
first.
himself.
Yeah.
Like
it's not
the
that he
guys.
can't do it.
Yeah, so it was a whole ploy from Palpatine, because if the Grand Inquisitor won, then he's sacking off Vader and letting Grand Inquisitor be his
Palpatine was
apprentice.
very scared of
Obviously, that
Vader
didn't happen.
consistently. Vader was one of the few people that consistently made Palpatine scared, and it's why he did so much to limit him when he could.
See, this was the thing as well. Do you know in Rebels, when the Grand Inquisitor died and said, "There's fate's worse more than dying"?
Yeah.
There's There's a comic for this as well.
Yeah, he
which is one
becomes
thing
a
I love
literal
about Star
soul that
Wars.
defends like a Jedi temple or something from Luke. Like,
Yeah, and he begs Vader to let him go. And he goes,
and
no.
Vader says no. Yeah,
In that, this is the fate worse than death.
yeah.
He's
Yeah,
trapped.
it's that whole if you don't become one with the Force, you become a Force ghost. And like the thing is, Old Republic had a lot more of these cases. I mean, hell, there's Sith who managed to control Force ghosts and consume them to become more powerful, right? But like Force ghosts in general were absolutely deranged maniacs that craved nothing more than power. Because they just gone insane through the years of isolation. Because unlike when you're at peace, while you become one with the Force, you're constantly restless and angry as a spirit. And like you either break under that pressure and become like him, you just want it to end, or you become absolutely insane and try to find a new host to steal their body from. If you're a skilled enough.
It's like that mask in Vader's castle.
Yeah.
Because that ghost, was like helping Vader try and get Padme back. And instead, formed a body for himself so he could, be alive again, basically. So.
And like, when we get to like older and older Sith artifacts, stuff from Naga Sadel, Ludo Kresh, Lord Calig, ancient Sith masters, all of their items are cursed or have their own sort of power in some way. One of Revan's lightsabers, just through the amount of Force energy constantly pouring out of him, was some bullshit, right? I forget exactly. One of his lightsabers gains fucking sentience, and a Jedi who later finds it is so pathetically weak, the lightsaber basically mind breaks him and tells him to kill himself.
That's some Zorro shit right there.
He is Revan isn't the most powerful Sith by any means.
The sword is
incredibly strong. He's one of the I'd say top 10, easy, right? But like someone like Naga Sadao would shit on him completely.
Yeah.
All right. Can I ask as well? What do we think of the other Star Wars media, such as like the games and all the comics and all this?
Knights of the Old Republic is great. The MMO's pretty good.
Yeah.
Which
I
one's
still need
that?
to go back to playing it, actually.
Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Because
Yeah.
it goes a lot more into Darth Visher, probably one of the most terrifying Sith Emperors to ever exist. Force Unleashed, fucking dude. Galen,
game.
holy shit, dude.
Alas, is not canon though.
It's not canon, but holy
If
shit.
it was, dude, I would love the universe
Star
so much
Killer
more.
is fucking horrifying.
He is next level.
Oh, imagine if they brought him back as
No,
an
no,
Inquisitor.
that's
That
the
would be
thing. If you
crazy.
play the second game, he does the opposite. He throws the moon at the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame him with how difficult it was to get that Star Destroyer down in that game. I don't blame him that he just shot the moon at one.
Classic
like-
Battlefront, by the way. Classic Battlefront. That was something. Oh my god.
Right. What do you think of the revised Battlefront? I think it's 2015 the first one came out, and then obviously Battlefront 2.
Oh, what, the
What were you
EA
thinking about
one?
them?
Yeah,
the graphics
the
of
EA
EA
one,
ones.
Yeah, yeah,
Graphics
yeah.
are
No,
good.
look, I loved Battlefront, like the OG, or whatever the fuck it was. But like the new one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It wasn't bad, but it just felt like it was pandering to
The
more Call of
first,
Duty.
the first Battlefront remake, so the new, the Battlefront 1, the new one, right? That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
actually pretty
2015.
good. That was actually pretty good.
Battlefront
I'm
2
thinking of
was
the
just
second
a
one, aren't
money
I?
grab.
That they released like 2 years
No,
after.
right. You say it's all a money grab and all this, but one, I think Battlefront 2 story was very good because it showed you the shift between
Marketing
the Empire
was
all the way up to
fucking
the Rebel.
Awful. Let's be real. That the marketing for Battlefront 2's campaign. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Shocking.
the most shocking thing I've ever seen. Like you're marketing an Imperial, and then guess what? That
Hey.
Imperial turns to the fucking rebels anyway. Like that's just
Pink
deceiving.
Darth Vader, let's go.
Yeah.
Pink Darth Vader microtransaction, let's go.
But
Fucking Rainbow
The
Unicorn.
story is good. Yeah. The story is
Anakin.
brilliant.
with this one line as well, it made it a good game.
Yeah. Genuinely.
Because all the free content they brought up was high quality every time. I don't think there was an update where I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this. Every update I
It
enjoyed
just didn't capture my interest, right? And I usually like that kind of game, that whole squad-based combat multiplayer stuff. I
Yeah,
think that's
Yeah, it's
quite
like
powerful.
Battlefield, isn't it?
And like, I don't know, something about the first one just captured me that bit more. Or maybe it was the 70 kill Boba Fett kill streak you got every time you picked up his fucking hero card.
It was so unbalanced.
If you didn't hit a 50 bomb minimum on Boba Fett, you did something wrong.
See, I think the thing that irked me with the first one was to play the heroes. It was not skill based. It was all just whoever's fastest
Find
to
the
get
card.
the token.
Yeah.
It's whoever fastest to get it gets it, and if you got Boba Fett or Palpatine, you won.
I like the skill based. Like, you have to actually play good, be a
To
good
get
character.
it, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you need a reward for like a reward for a grind sort of thing. Like in MMOs, you don't fucking do a quest and then just get given XP and enjoy that, do you?
I think it'd be fine. I think it'd be fine to still have it available if you just found it, but then also if you are skilled, you get it quicker.
Yeah,
right?
with the point system in 2, yeah.
Yeah, like it was like a one time it appeared on like a map on a game. Halfway through, it appeared, and that's the only way a lower layer, like a lower ability player, could get it in like a big map.
I say instead of once, maybe like have kind of like how put them in hard to get to or like easily contested positions.
I think Halo does it really well with like the things like energy sword.
The
Like
power
everybody's
weapons,
going to be rushing
does
for
it
the
really
energy
well.
blade, and like we all know where the energy blade spawns in Halo 3 on that fucking crossfire map. Like
We all know where the sniper spawns as well.
in the cave just next to the fucking active ammo pickup as well. Like that shit's muscle memory, like to me.
Yeah.
But like if they did it like that, I'd appreciate it. But my issue with those two games is it was like I would have loved it if it had its like it did have its quirks, its own unique quirks. Don't get me wrong, but it was sort of pandering towards more the third-person shooter side of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I felt like the dogfights, like where you could get into the TIE fighters and shit like that. You know,
Original Battlefront. That's
like
so
I
much
love
better.
those.
Oh my god! You've just activated a memory. The ability to go from your ship, your capital ship, get into whatever space, whatever.
Fighter.
Go into another capital ship was unreal.
Yeah.
Oh my god! They need
Right,
to
You
bring
can do
that back.
so many funny strats with that.
I think the problem is I had high hopes for it. It's like the what was the most recent Battlefield that was released? Like everybody was hyping it up, and then they played it, and it was like fucking like
2042.
basically Roblox.
Honestly, with 2042, you
fucking
could tell.
Unturned or
You
some
could
shit.
tell. You could tell 2042 was going to be bad.
Yeah,
Because all of the devs were switched out last minute on it, pretty much. B, it was probably one of the worst ad campaigns for a game they were advertising as a historically accurate World War II game, and your main character's a female cyborg.
Oh, you mean Battlefield 2? Battlefield
Five.
War
2042,
Five,
that's
yeah,
the one we're
5.
talking about.
2042. I thought we were on about.
It's 2042, it's called, I think. Yeah.
2042 is the stupid one with the cyborgs
the
and all
future
that.
one.
That's literally what I said.
Oh. For a minute, I thought, the World War II shooter. Alright, my bad. You were talking about other media, books. I actually do enjoy the canon novels, weirdly.
Before you talk about books, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
You also mentioned going into TIE fighters and all that. I want to ask, have any of you played Squadrons?
Have it. Haven't.
A little bit.
I
do
can't
wanna play
lie.
it, though.
I love that game. I bought it because it was on sale, so I was like, do you know what? I'll try it, see what it's like.
Flight sim. Yeah.
I loved it. There's the strategy in it because you need to know whether to power your what they call engines,
Or your shields.
deflectors, or your weapons. The strategy in that is brilliant. All the different ship types feel different. Brilliant. No third person, so you can't cheat and see what's behind you. You can literally just see what the cockpit has
And
you
it's
to see.
skill based, yeah.
You actually need to be good at the game. Plus, oh my god, the story for it is brilliant. You can play both sides, Empire and Rebel. Brilliant game. I recommend it highly.
My God.
Yeah. Anyway, on to books.
Yeah. I did mention the Canon Theron trilogy. It's actually pretty decent. There's like a lot of stuff that weirdly, you were talking about how the chiss weren't force sensitive. They kind of put it in the second book weirdly, but it's like a surprise mechanic. Lol.
They can be force sensitive. It's just because of the way
it's a rarity in the chiss. Yeah.
Incredibly rare. Like literally.
There's a few species like that, isn't it? Isn't there?
There are some
Mandalorians
species
area.
that physically can't be force sensitive.
Yeah.
Mandalorians are just humans. That's just like for the most part, so it's just random.
Like lore-wise for the
fair
chiss
enough.
specifically, Like lore-wise,
Pretty sure-
within that book, the only reason they have Force-sensitive chips is because they can't use Navi computers through the unknown regions because of how unchartable it is and how dangerous it is. So they use Force-sensitive to guide like the ships through, and which makes sense for their culture actually, and also helps hide the Chiss ascendancy as well. Like lore-wise, it makes sense. Yeah. Other books I'd recommend. There's the
I'm
New
pretty
Dawn.
sure, like,
Really good.
don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure, but I think like the Wookiees, I don't think they're very force sensitive.
There's one in
There
Clone
are.
Wars.
There are.
There's
Wookiee
one.
Jedi.
Yeah.
It's just because of how they're how isolationist they are.
Yeah.
It's very rare they leave their planet, and the ones that leave their planets often left because they got captured by slave traders.
Yeah. Like the
I wouldn't necessarily
Trandoshans,
call them lacking in force sensitivity, though. I feel like they are aware.
No.
'Cause, I mean, for fuck's sake, they live on the fucking like one of the most like.
I think they are like average force sensitivity, so
Yeah.
like same rate as humans, but because of the way their isolationist culture is, they don't interact with people very much. So
they're in the exact same system as the Trandoshans. You know, the lizard like predator people. You know, like there's an entire plot point in Clone Wars about that hunter planet.
Yeah,
they just hunt Wookiees, don't they?
Yeah.
To be fair, that was one of my favourite scenes in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Where the Wookiee, what's he called? The black third
Chrysanthemum,
Wookiee.
Yeah.
Chrysanthemum, that's it. The scene where he's in that gambling place, the bar.
Yeah.
And he sees some Trandoshans out in front and just goes to town on them.
Yeah.
Because he has that hatred because of what they've done.
Which, if you understand the lore behind that, it makes sense because like the Wookiees and the Trandoshans just despise each other. Yeah.
That's what I love because it was an unspoken thing, and if you knew, you knew. If you didn't, then it's
isn't he also a mad claw as well? Given like he does use his claws.
Yes.
From what
there he is.
And like that's considered incredibly dishonorable in like Wookiee society, and you'd just be banished for it if they ever saw you do it.
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah. But what other books are quite good for the Star Wars?
In terms of the new canon.
The recent Vader comics are really good.
Comics are really good.
Oh my god,
genuinely.
Right, speaking of Vader comics, do you two? Well, not two. Do you lot remember the one about that woman who was obsessed with Darth Vader?
Yep, and she got stabbed through the chest at the end of it. Yeah, love
that because when that came out, a lot of people got very offended that Darth Vader killed her.
Yeah, it's Darth Vader. What are we on about?
Yeah,
man's wife is dead, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Have you heard about the story? Like, what actually happened with it all then?
No.
Okay, so basically it came out, and a certain group of people, I'm not going to name, anything, I'm not going to get political.
Liberals,
complained about how Darth Vader, a man in power, killed a woman who was not in
liberal
power.
Feminists, right, my bad, yeah.
So...
No, don't insult
radical feminists. Sorry, my bad. I meant radical feminists.
Like that, my guy. There we go.
Yeah.
We're
using the wrong term here. Yeah.
Yeah, but so this group of people were like, well, he shouldn't have killed this woman. She did nothing wrong. One, she stalked him. Two, she, tried forcing herself on him.
Zero, he is evil. He is not a good person.
And his wife's dead.
He's not a good person. He has trauma over his wife, and he's literally a galactic genocide mass murderer. Why does he care?
That works for an empire, by the way, that genocided the Geonosians. Like, why do you don't think we don't see any Geonosians anymore in the original trilogy?
Wait, which ones are the Geonosians? Is that
the weird bug people?
Yeah,
they literally don't exist because the Empire genocided them. They quote-unquote sterilized them.
No, Pog.
Yeah.
Further, I see why the Empire did that, because obviously the Geonosians planned all the Death Stars and that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, right. So you're advocating for genocide now, Driscoll. Okay, right, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
For real? Wow. We've got an SS soldier on our hands. Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
Okay, Austrian painting.
For legal reasons, I don't believe that.
Yeah, that was a joke. Okay, right.
Yeah, no, but the Vader comics are very good.
Yeah.
I think I saw one where I think it was after the sequels came out, and it was explaining about Darth Vader and Palpatine going to Exegol, and building this whole Sith
yeah,
empire.
that was amazing.
And
I remember that comic.
Vader's first time getting through, it was guided by this absolute gigantuous monster.
It's like a squid type space squid thing, yeah.
It was like there's a defense mechanism basically, and obviously Vader beats it and rides it in to Exegol. Firstly, badass.
Yeah.
Riding this giant monster, like if you saw the scale, Vader was a speck compared to this like monster. And Palpatine absolutely obliterated the monster. Like the power them two have is unfathomable. Like it's just unreal.
And Vader's gimped. Vader's fucking gimped. He's not even full power.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
if Vader could actually use Force abilities, Palpatine would just die in like 3 seconds.
Which is
But
probably
see,
why
this is the
Palpatine
thing.
picked him in the first place. Yeah.
Well,
This
no,
is
it's
the
why
thing.
he didn't. No. Palpatine has the technology to fully heal Luke. Absolutely. Luke, Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
He just doesn't.
absolutely has the power to do it. He just doesn't because
I want to keep
Listen,
him as
this
a
is the thing.
crippled
He
would
puppet.
die.
The suit has so many weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. His suit is built in with flaws that Palpatine can exploit in case he ever does try and rise up, because he knows how powerful he is.
Which is why, plot-wise, they wanted Luke why Palpatine also wanted Luke to probably take over from Anakin.
Yeah, 'cause
Which
he's
makes
a bit
sense,
weaker.
yeah.
Yeah, but
And it's why, it's why I think Force Unleashed was so cool, because it's
Yeah.
Darth Vader trying to. He's fully realized by now, and he probably realized pretty quickly, just in general, that he was getting fucked. And, he was trying to use Starkiller to get him out of it, and either ending, Vader wins.
Yeah.
He gets what he wants.
and
Because, Dark Side, Light Side ending for Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2?
I love that. I love the endings.
Both really good.
Yeah.
I love the whole expansion of the universe that Force Unleashed gave us. They just killed it. They've killed it off.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm very glad they did, because Starkiller's power level is very
Way
unhealthy.
too
Yeah.
overpowered, though. Which is
Very
one of the few
unhealthy.
things, I didn't like with some of the Legends content, was, how overpowered certain people are, or, weapons-wise.
The thing is, with Legends specifically, the reason I'd say it's okay as far as Legends goes, and having Starkiller being in Legends is fine, right?
Yeah.
It's because everybody else also gets that ridiculous power boost as well.
Yeah.
Luke literally fights the god of the entire Force to a standstill. He can't kill her,
Yeah.
but he doesn't lose.
Abeloth, yeah.
Saying this though, we talk about how we're glad this is all not Legend anymore. One thing I do like is about some of the more media that's coming out. The Force, no, what are they called? Fallen Order. That's the one. Sorry.
Fallen Order, yeah.
Yeah, Fallen Order. The world building in that is so
Yep.
good.
I mean, it's to the point even George Lucas likes, and he's notorious for absolutely hating a lot of the.
Yeah.
Oh,
anything
I've
that
been
isn't
I've been
really
replaying it, currently. It's so
And
good.
if George Lucas likes it, not saying his taste is good or definitive,
Yeah.
but if that fucking old salty bastard liked it, it's probably decent.
Yeah.
good.
If even he can't say anything bad about it.
Oh my god,
I
the
think it was
Purge Troopers.
brilliant.
Oh my, the way they did the Inquisitors as well. It just builds on top of. What
Yeah,
was
and
it, the Vatican Rebels?
hell, the protagonist, whatever the fuck he's
Cal
called, he's all...
Kestis. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Cal's a good protagonist, dude. I don't even
See,
hate him.
this is what I love about it. They got a brilliant actor. I can't remember what his name is, but he's the guy who plays Joker in Gotham. Brilliant actors.
Oh, just to
all
give you a
around.
tidbit here, it's not actually him.
Is it not? Just his.
No, it just looks like him. He was actually asked, because I thought it looked like him as well. I was like, hold up, is this the guy from
Swear
Joker,
it
the
is.
one who's you're getting paid? From the other film as well. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, he was asked, are you going to star if they do it in a live action sort of thing, about it? And he was like, what? And then he looked at the game and was like, shit, yeah, it does look like me. So yeah, I thought it was a bit weird as well.
You sure? Because the guy who is Cal Kestis says he's been on Gotham, which I'm pretty sure he's the Joker.
Anyway,
I mean, I might
yeah.
be wrong. If I am, I'll eat my words. But I believe I read somewhere on an article that it wasn't actually him, but he was not pissed off with them using his likeness or something like that.
No, because I think when it started, it wasn't him. He got brought on because I think he's a fan of Star Wars, and And I think it's a good opportunity for him, getting into this media.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Once
And
you
his
get
name,
into
Cameron
Star
Monaghan.
Wars, you're set for life. Like,
And like
So
you
this
have to be a joyless bastard to dislike video games. Genuinely,
Oh yeah.
you have to be some like soulless motherfucker with no happiness in your life.
I think the best thing about Jedi Fallen Order as well is that they did hire real actors like Cameron. So if they
a
did
lot
want to
of
bring him
games have been
into,
doing stuff like that recently. They're like picking real life actors and just like modeling their character out of it, and even getting them to do voice acting, right? Yeah. GTA 5 is a very good example of it.
Oh my God,
Literally,
dude.
A lot of the characters are just real people. They have to do the acting.
they've got Dr. Dre in there now as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they actually did. In GTA Online, they like there's a joke as well because like his third album was supposed to be coming out, and like obviously in the mission for Dr. Dre, you have to find people who stole his album.
Yeah.
There's like a sort of theory that when he was going to be releasing his third album, that's actually what happened because it was highly anticipated as well.
They just got stolen.
Like he was part of the big three. It's like Tupac had his album, Biggie released his album, and then like Dre was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna release my."
And some motherfucker stole all the records, yeah. So there's some like rich dude who just has all of these original Dr. Dre records. Dr. Dre records, yeah. Just like sat there like, hi.
That's
like he's
really
the
cool
only
in Watch
person
Dogs 2,
who
I think, actually. Yeah.
It
there's that
kind
guy
of
that's-
reminds me of that SCP, the Forensic Ghost of Tupac Shakur, where he just tells them about crimes going on.
I love
through
that
the
one
fucking
so
record.
much.
It's so cool because, like, the way it works, right, is essentially it's a record that randomly gains new music on it every now and again. It's songs written by Tupac with modern day artists that, he'd realistically not even be in the same era to meet. And all of them are brand new songs, and it describes murder that's happened, and it's a murder he wants them to go and solve, basically. Honestly, I forget who did it. I think it was Vulcan who did the video on it, but
Yeah.
he got a real rapper to do some of the songs for it. Dude. It was cool as fuck. It fucking sounded like him. That's the scary thing.
Yeah, I remember watching that after you recommended it.
Yeah.
Because obviously I love my 90s rap.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking boomer.
Boomer.
But honestly, I remember watching it, laughing, and then being like, "Wait, hold up, Tupac not dead?" Like the fucking X-Files.
Conspiracy theory: Anakin Skywalker is actually Darth Vader.
Whoa.
No,
crazy.
no
Wow.
impossible.
proof. There's no proof
way.
for that.
No way. No way.
You need to lay off the tinfoil hats,
What,
my guy.
that bold, burnt, wrinkly leather ball sack? No, thank you. No way. That's not Anakin Skywalker. God knows.
Yo, is Anakin Skywalker actually the original trilogy?
I guess this is a good time to wrap. Actually, God, we've been at this for
Yeah,
1 hour
right, just-
20ish. So
Oh,
yeah.
Right,
Jesus.
just before we end up, then, can I ask you, what are you thinking about the new shows coming up, like Andor, all the other ones, the Old Republic show coming up,
I'm not
Ahsoka.
very hopeful given how meh Obi-Wan was.
I feel like Obi-Wan
I
was
was a
just
bit let
fan
down by that.
service, honestly.
It was meh.
It was fan
fine.
service.
It
It
was
was fan
alright.
service.
It
I
needed
found
more,
it
it needed
alright.
more
I
episodes.
wouldn't even say it was good fan service though. It was fine. It
No,
was
we're
just
not
fine.
talking anime fan service, Hassan.
I'm not talking
can
anime
go for
fan
it.
service either. He doesn't do enough fights for it to be fan service.
See, this is the
Obi-Wan
thing,
Booba when?
it didn't have enough episodes.
I mean, Ewan McGregor is kind of thick. I hate how incompetent they made the assassins though.
What, the Inquisitors?
Oh, how are they that
Goes
incompetent?
under a tree. Oh no, there's a tree in my way.
Like,
So we're
honestly,
saying not hopeful.
by far my favorite scenes of him is when he's just using martial arts, because it shows that Jedi, even without their force powers, are really adept fighters, right? Because it's something that gets glossed over. Every Jedi is a martial artist.
Yeah.
All of them know how to
Yeah.
beat the shit out of your weapon or not. Like,
Darth
they're
Maul when
an ancient monastic order, and people forget that they are monks, basically.
Yeah.
it's like Darth Maul when he defeated like what's his name, Qui-Gon? Is it?
Yeah.
Like I can't pronounce
Qui-Gon.
it right. He was
Qui-Gon.
just like
You fell for it, pussy fart.
Literally. Like, these guys are like peak MMA fighters, bro. They'll knock the living shit out of you 3 ways to Friday.
It's off more when.
So what we're saying, not hopeful for the upcoming shows.
I'm not very hopeful, but I'm open to be pleasantly
Yes,
surprised.
Andor,
And I fe-
yeah. Andor, I'm kind of
I-
excited because like I loved him in Rogue One personally. Old Republic show, we'll have to see because we haven't seen anything from Old Republic era. Like
Two that they
in
need to nail.
canon.
The two that they need to nail is the Old Republic, because the fan base die for the Old Republic.
We will
and
literally
Ahsoka.
crucify them if they get that wrong.
yeah, literally. Like that's how
Ahsoka.
well loved Old Republic is. Like,
Literally, I'm not saying anyone should do this, and it's illegal, so don't do it. But someone
we
be
have
mad
not.
enough to like firebomb their studio if they mess that up.
Yeah,
Hold
and
up. How did we go from talking about Obi-Wan's titties to this, dude? What the fuck? I just
Hey,
said
hey,
for a
if
minute.
they-
I was beating up Gohan, and then all of a sudden I heard, "Do not firebomb the studio." Like,
Hey,
this is
if
about
they-
Old Republic, fandom.
mess
So,
up,
you know,
If they mess up the Old Republic show, someone will do that. I am not kidding. These guys are fucking insane. I'm one of them.
yeah.
fair.
And we're saying on this show, do not fucking firebomb their studios because we're not going to be held fucking responsible for it. God, and I'm kind of poor at the moment, and I cannot afford court fees.
and the other one,
Hey, yo.
and the other one they need to nail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one they need to nail is Ahsoka Tano. If they get that wrong, then it's another firebombing.
Anyway, this is a good place to leave it, I guess. Episode wise, I think, guys. Yeah. Damn. Anyway, good episode. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.